On today's show, we're talking about what is the Brett Boone effect, what to expect for the Rangers heading into this series against Brett Boone's brother and the Yankees, and did the Rangers just sign the Korean version of Shohei Ohtani? We'll talk about all that and more on this episode of Locked On Rangers. Let's get into it.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Rangers fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're looking a little bit more into what is the Brett Boone effect? What is he talking about on his podcast? What can we expect for this series against the New York Yankees, against his brother, the manager of those New York Yankees, and Aaron Boone, and if the Rangers might have just signed the Korean version of Shohei Ohtani. We'll talk about all that and more. But first, today is May 20th, a very special day to me because my girlfriend is turning 30 years old. So happy birthday, Morgan. Listen to the show every single day. Love you. So glad to have you celebrating this day. Now, let's get into the baseballs, talking about people who care about other people. Totally a great transition there. Brett Boone, the new Rangers hitting coach. This is the Boone Bowl, as they are calling it. Brett Boone, Rangers new hitting coach, versus Aaron Boone, his little brother, the manager of those little brother New York Yankees. Just kidding. Not really as much little brother there. But what has the Brett Boone effect really been so far this season? Well, the first thing that he wanted to say on his podcast is that he is a background player. He does have a podcast. He's a podcaster like me, so I feel like I can relate to him in that way. The Rangers players can relate to him because he is a 14-year big league veteran. It's good. He's relating to everybody in that he likes baseball. He talks baseball. He is very knowledgeable about the game. But I listened to the Brett Boone podcast for the first time. Wanted to make sure everyone is liking and subscribing on that platform. But the thing that he stressed over and over and over again is that he is a background player. This is not about him. He says, when these guys succeed, it is not because of anything special that I told them. It is because they are big leaguers. They are good big leaguers. They just won a World Series not that long ago. So I'm just here to help these guys get out of their own heads. One of the things that he emphasized is his background of being a player. And one of the things that I think really will speak to these guys, I think is already speaking to these guys, is that he has been in their shoes, talking about, being a motivator, being a guy who has experienced the highs and lows of being in the game. He's a guy who has been, at times incredible, and he's gone through low points as well. I mean, on that 2001 Seattle Mariners team, the best regular season team in Major League Baseball history, he was the best player on it. He had 37 home runs, 141 RBIs, finished third in MVP voting that year, and he was phenomenal. He's also, had some seasons where he wasn't as great. I mean, that was an 8.8 WAR season for me. He's had several seasons in the negative, including his final year in the big leagues in 2005, a negative 2.1 WAR season. It was a rough year for me. It really hit his stride in his early to mid 30s. So that is when he was at his best, and the peak was very, very high. I mean, an 8.8 WAR season and at age 32, had a 4-win season the next season, a 5.9 win season, nearly a 6-win season right after that, and then a half a win season. He only had a 740 OPS at age 35 in 2004, and then 2005, that was his last year in the big leagues. It fell off pretty quickly. So he said he knows how to relate to these hitters, to feel and empathize with their emotions and help them get out of their heads as well. I mean, he's already talked a lot with Jock Peterson. We got to see Jock Peterson's second home run of the season, an absolute blast on exactly the type of pitches that Jock Peterson has been known to destroy in his career. Some fastballs just right down the middle of the zone. And while we're still not quite seeing exactly the results that we were hoping for, we are still seeing a little bit of the underlying data looking more like we expected. I mean, you look at his baseball savant page, most of it looks pretty decent. The expected batting average, expected slugging percentage, those aren't great. The launch angle sweet spot is very, very bad. That is something that he needs to work on, is working on, but the walk rate still in the top 14% of baseball. You don't sign a DH of that caliber to just walk. You do sign him to impact the baseball. We are seeing him more and more as of late get out of his own head and stop just blaming it on the bat that he's using and just getting more in the zone, more back to being locked in, being the Jock Peterson that we know. Same with Marcus Semien, another guy who's been having a very, very tough time, a guy who has been described as pretty similar to Brett Boone. Boone was an all-star second baseman. He had an incredible second base season. He was a gritty guy in the box who really got the most out of his talent. And that's definitely who Marcus Semien is as a player as well. It was just interesting to see him talking about relating to the younger players. One of the points that he brought up is how much he's listening to the younger players, how much he's learning from the younger players. I think that really kind of speaks to the wisdom that this guy has. He says, usually as old people, we think, oh, we know everything. We've been there. We've done that. We've done every single thing. And we have all the answers to everything. And him saying that, I don't have all the answers to everything. I've been away from the game for a long time, and I want to pick the brains of these young guys and see what their path has been like, what they've gone through, what things that they have that I didn't have, tools they have at their disposal that I didn't have. How do they see the game? How do they understand what is going on in a given game and learning from them? And I thought that showed a lot of wisdom for him to be able to, have that kind of, mentality to be always learning, to be always a sponge, soaking up different things from different areas and not being so arrogant to say it's my way or the highway. I'm old, so I've been there, so I know exactly what's going on. And saying, no, let me learn from these young guys. Let me learn from guys whose experiences are different than mine. Let me impart then that wisdom, take that in with what I already know and apply it and see how that works out. And I think that's what some of the smartest people around the game and just in general do. That's why I think Bruce Bochy is so incredibly successful, is because, everyone thinks, oh, well, he's that old school manager. Doesn't listen to analytics or the new school stuff. No, Bruce Bochy is taking wisdom from everywhere. I mean, he was one of the big proponents of data and analytics and back with the San Francisco Giants. And even when he was with the Padres, he was taking in a lot of information from a bunch of different sources. Now, are you going to use every single statistic that's at your disposal when you're a major league manager? No. Are you going to, give every single bit of information that you can to every single guy? No, everybody's different. He also talked about, for the first day that he jumped into the dugout, the Rangers put up 16 hits and everyone's saying, oh, it's the Brett Boone effect. It's the Brett Boone effect. He's like, I had nothing to do with that. I was sitting there. I was, talking ball a little bit with these guys. I was not in there drawing up the game plan and saying, oh, this is exactly how you do everything. No, that was not the case. And with these hitting coaches, he said at the big league level, you're just kind of a caretaker. I mean, you're not forming and molding these guys. You're not, taking an 18-year-old or a 16-year-old and teaching them how to play the game in general. No, they've already made it to the big leagues. They're already pretty much a finished product. You're just helping them get back on track, helping them, giving them whatever resources you can and being a resource for them, of just being a background player, saying when these guys have success, it is because they are big leaguers, because they are already good. I didn't just reinvent the wheel and figure out how to make these guys good. I just helped them remember what makes them so good. And he also talked about talking to the younger generation, talking to the guys like Wyatt Langford, like Evan Carter, relating to these young players because, he is a father of a guy who is a professional baseball player. He's also a father-in-law to a current big leaguer in Nick Allen, who is married to his daughter, and then his son, Jake, who is also a professional. He was drafted in the 37th round or 38th round of the 2017 draft by the Washington Nationals back in 2017. He's been in independent league ball for the last 3 years, but his son has been playing professional baseball and is a current professional baseball. He's 26 years old. So knowing how to talk to this younger generation, knowing how to relate to those guys, and also knowing how to relate to the old heads, the guys like Marcus Semien, like Jock Peterson, like Corey Seager, who are maybe at the top of their game, who have been around the block and seen a few things and know a few things as well, and being able to relate to all kinds of different players and just have those conversations with those guys and be that kind of resource for these guys. And one of the other things that he emphasized that I thought was really interesting was the importance of just watching the game. Just watch what's happening right there on the field. Watch how these pitchers are attacking guys that are similar to you or guys who are different to you. Watch how they are looking. Are they having command right now? Are they on the top of their game? As opposed to just watching the iPads. I mean, he said that the iPads are great. Watching through your at bat and seeing exactly, what the pitcher was doing, what you were doing in that bat, how things actually looked, as opposed to how you thought they looked from in the box. That's valuable stuff. But watch that in between innings and then get on there, see what you see with these pitchers on any given night, what the game plan is, what they're attacking, exactly, eyes on scouting in the moment of just being aware of what's happening in the game, in the moment, being present in that moment and helping out your teammates and helping out yourself of just figuring out what exactly is going on in the game. I think that's definitely a bit of wisdom that could help this Rangers team. Something that they're still struggling with is hitting with runners in scoring position. That's something the Rangers need to be a lot better at. Right now, they have the 5th worst batting average with runners in scoring position on the year. The only teams worse than them, Pittsburgh Pirates, Colorado Rockies, the Chicago White Sox, and surprisingly, the Baltimore Orioles, who are hitting below 200 with runners in scoring position on the season. Right now, Rangers at 218 with RASP and a 619 OPS. They just cannot get on base even when there are runners in scoring position. They just are not being patient enough. They're striking out too much. They just aren't having quality at bats. Some of that is BABIP luck. Some of that is just, putting too much pressure on themselves. I think that the Brett Boone hire is a great hire so far. Again, he's not going to come in and fix everything. This offense takes time to get things sorted out, but because the pitching staff has been so incredibly good, because this team is still above 500, still above water, and the schedule is about to get a lot easier in the month of June, theoretically, at least theoretically, it's about to get a whole lot easier. I'm feeling confident about this team, turning these strides, making things look a little bit different. And I'm excited about the future of the Texas Rangers, not just for now, but for a few years to come, because of a guy who they just signed recently out of Korea, a two-way player, a shortstop and a pitcher. Talk about who he is and why he might not be the next Shohei Ohtani, but he could be a very important part of this Texas Rangers future. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Monarch Money. You ever check your bank account and wonder, hey, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it is so easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it is a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's Monarch Money, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Shout out to the Everyday Speaking Locked On Rangers, your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be back and talk about the first game of this series. Patrick Corbin tonight on the bump for the Texas Rangers, who as of right now do have the best staff ERA in all of baseball, thanks to a terrible night for the New York Mets, or not even terrible, just not a perfect night for the New York Mets staff. The Rangers, as of right now, I was talking about it on yesterday's show, have the best starting pitcher ERA in all of Major League Baseball through 48 games, a 2.83 ERA. The Mets now down there at a terrible, abysmal 2.85 ERA on the season. The Rangers also have the best WHIP as a staff of 1.05 as a staff, a 1.05 WHIP as a rotation. Everybody who started any game this year, it's just been awesome. And you know who also pitches? The guy who the Rangers just signed out of Korea, a two-way star, Seon-Jun Kim. I believe that is the correct pronunciation. My apologies to Kim and the Kim family if that is not how that is pronounced. But he is the 5th player from his high school to sign with a major league team. There have been 4 more before him. Hee-Sup Choi, Jung Ho Kang, Byung-Hun Kim, and Jae Wong Seo. So I am so sorry. Absolutely, completely butchered that. But this is a guy who the Rangers have been eyeing for quite some time. He is not just a one-way star. He is a right-handed pitcher who can throw a fastball touching 95 so far. They think that he can add some velocity as well. He's also got two different breaking balls, a slider and a curveball, both of which he has a pretty good feel for. And well, not to be stereotypical, but because he is a pitcher from Asia, the splitter is very, very popular. And he has got a very, very good splitter, got some swing and miss on that pitch. And a guy with a 4-pitch mix who's not just a regular hitter, not just a DH. The Rangers aren't just going to DH him and pitch him. He is a shortstop as well. He is a guy who plays the infield as a pitcher as well. This is a guy who the Rangers have been scouting for quite some time. His bonus is coming from the Rangers international bonus pool money. They did not have a lot of deals in their international class this year because they were trying to get Roki Sasaki. They did not get Roki Sasaki. So even though they had all that money, they had a lot of players where they said, hey, we're not going to do deals with you just yet because we don't want to sign Roki Sasaki and then have told you, hey, we're going to do this deal with you and then end up welching on that deal. I really respect Chris Young and the Rangers for doing that, for being so upfront about their process. There were some guys who they said, hey, if we don't sign this guy, then we will come and get you. If you want to sign somewhere else, then that's totally your choice. That's your prerogative. You have every right to do that. But the Rangers were able to get a few different international guys with their bonus pool money. This is the big fish, though. Because the Rangers didn't sign Roki Sasaki, they were able to sign Seon-Jun Kim, who is a shortstop / right-handed pitcher. The Rangers are going to give him every single chance to play both positions. He is not graduating high school until January of 2026. He will be given a strength and conditioning plan and a training regimen from the Texas Rangers to go through until he graduates and can join the Rangers in their system. So far, he's touched 95 with that fastball, like I said, and this season so far, he's hitting 333 as a hitter with a 1,015 OPS on the season so far. He has been very, very good, and he's getting about $1 million in his signing bonus money. The other guys who have played in the big leagues from the KBO or from his high school, none of them has signed directly out of high school. This is a big deal, not just because he is a two-way player, not just because he's getting $1 million. All those are big things, big reasons to keep an eye on this guy whenever he does end up joining the Rangers system. Again, it's going to be about a year before we actually see him playing affiliated games in the minor leagues. I would assume he starts in the Arizona Complex League in 2026. So again, he's not going to be playing at all with the Rangers this year. I don't think. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that he's going to come over stateside during the summer in his summers off and then play Complex League and then go back to school and then graduate in January of next year and then start his big league career. I would think it'd be more likely for him to just stay over in Korea and finish his schooling there and then come over to the States to start his career. But this is not something that happens very often. Usually the international bonus pool money, that is for usually Latin American prospect signings or, guys who have been in the KBO or in Japan and Nippon Professional Baseball for a couple of years, but aren't quite 25, haven't hit those marks, those benchmarks that you need to sign to just become a full-on free agent in either Japan or Korea and then sign with a major league team as just a regular free agent. Usually those guys, almost everybody in Japan will at least spend, or Korea as well, will spend some time in the minor leagues, in the major leagues of their own nation's professional baseball apparatus. You are not seeing a lot of guys come over and sign directly out of Japan, out of Korea. That is just something that has been highly incentivized for them to play for their own nations, to go up through that system. That is just kind of how the system has worked. And there haven't been a whole lot of guys who have bucked that trend specifically. He is the first player from this high school to do that. There's just not been a whole lot of guys that have done that in general. One of the biggest ones to do this, one of the biggest players in Japan or Korea to come over and sign directly with a major league team or try and get that route and go the draft route is Rintaro Sasaki. He is a freshman over at Stanford, a first baseman. He is from Iwate, Japan, in the Hanamaki area. That is totally not butchering the pronunciation of that. But he's signing and came over in 2024. This is his freshman season with Stanford. He plays first base. He is a big slugging first baseman. He was the Baseball America #1 freshman, the Baseball America ACC preseason freshman of the year. He has the record in Japan for the most high school home runs with 140, and he came over straight to the United States. He didn't go through Nippon Professional Baseball. He didn't go through that draft process because you don't have as much agency. And so it is really a trend-setting thing. He might end up being a first-round pick, I believe, in the 2026 draft. He will be draft eligible after next season. He's been doing okay so far in his career at Stanford. Not anything, particularly world beating. He's got 7 home runs in 51 games so far this season. He's been doing, pretty well for Stanford, hitting .274 with a .421 slugging percentage and a .384 on base percentage. But this is a new trend. This is something that is not happening all that frequently. And so Seon-Jun Kim is someone that you should be keeping an eye on, keeping an ear to the ground. Whenever I have more information about it, I will be passing it along for sure. But this is just an interesting way for the Rangers to spend their money. I know that Chris Young and company were very, very much had their sights set on Roki Sasaki. Heck, even years and years and years, they have been scouting Roki Sasaki, but they'd also been scouting Kim. This has been a guy who the Rangers have also had their eye on, knowing that there would be contingency plans, knowing that, hey, the Dodgers are still the Dodgers. It was most likely they would end up with Roki Sasaki, and they did. But you still had a lot of international bonus pool money. I think this is a very smart way to do this, to spend this money, to take a chance on a guy who we'll see if he ends up coming up and being a big league two-way player. There have not been very many of those. It is incredibly difficult, but the Rangers have expressed how confident they are in him as a person, in him as a baseball talent, with not only his aptitude for playing both positions, which is incredibly difficult, especially doing with a position that's as taxing the shortstop. I mean, it's not like him being a catcher and pitching. That would be truly the most insane thing I had ever seen. But we'll see. We'll see how long he sticks with being a two-way player. Usually guys kind of get that weeded out when you find out if they're really, really good at one position or the other. It just eventually makes sense for them to just stick with that one position. Heck, we're seeing it with Shohei Ohtani right now. We'll see when we actually see him pitch again. He hasn't pitched since 2023. It has been a while since Shohei has pitched, and I don't think we'll see him pitch again until at least after the All-Star break this year. And maybe he'll end up being a hitter. Even as the singular talent as Shohei Ohtani, we've seen how difficult it is to stay healthy, to stay, on the mound and as a hitter. And we'll see if he can end up getting to the big leagues, Seon-Jun Kim, as a two-way star. But I'm very excited for his potential. The Rangers are very, very excited for his potential. And, we'll see how this ends up working out. Still quite a ways away, but just some fun news on this off day. Some less fun news coming up. We're talking about Evan Carter being sidelined and the Rangers DFAing a former big leaguer from just a few weeks ago. All that and more right after this. Shout out to the everybody making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. For your second listen of the day, go check out the Locked On Rangers postcast with Jeff Biggs coming up with you after every single game, right after every single game, live on YouTube in the Locked On Rangers YouTube feed and wherever you get your podcasts. Go check that out after all 162. Now, the Rangers had some unfun news on Sunday that I didn't have a chance to talk about on yesterday's show. Evan Carter is unfortunately going on the IL. But hold your horses, hold your backs, because his back is just fine. It is just a quad strain. I believe it is a grade 2 quad strain, which means he will be out at least 2 weeks, which is deeply unfun. I was so excited to see Evan Carter back in the big leagues. And now that the Rangers have moved on from Leo Taveras, we're going to be seeing quite a bit of Sam Haggerty. It seems like he will be the main guy out there in center field for the Rangers while we are down one Evan Carter on the big league roster. The Rangers also made a move claiming Michael Helman on waivers, optioning him to AAA, and to make room on the 40-man roster, the Rangers designated Jonathan Ornellis for assignment. I was a little surprised to see the Rangers do that. He has been a big leaguer for the past 3 seasons. He did not get a hit in 6 plate appearances so far this year. Had 1 walk and 3 strikeouts in 6 plate appearances at the big league level. And in Round Rock, it has not been going well offensively for him. He is not an offensive player. He is very much a glove first guy, but at 25 through 30 games so far in Round Rock this season, which again, the PCL is a hitter-friendly league. He has been hitting quite terribly, even compared to how he had hit in the past. A 204 batting average so far, a 339 on base percentage. Because he'll work his walks, but he just does not hit the ball in the air nearly enough. A 574 OPS on the season. He will be subject to a waiver claim. If someone wants to claim him and put them on their 40-man roster, then they can definitely do that. This is, I believe, his last option year. So the Rangers are just going ahead and deciding, hey, let's take a chance on Michael Helman, who was a former draft pick of, I believe he's been with the St. Louis Cardinals. He was a draft pick initially out of Texas A&M. So if you are an Aggie fan, this is your guy. Go cape for this Michael Helman. We'll see if we get to see him in the big leagues at all. He's played second base. He's played center field. He's played shortstop as well. 11th round pick of the Minnesota Twins back in 2018. He has played just 1 season in the big leagues. That was last year. He played 9 whole games with the Minnesota Twins. He had a 300 batting average and on base percentage and a 500 slugging percentage, had a couple of doubles in his 9 games, an 800 career big league OPS. And this year with Memphis, the AAA affiliate, I believe, of the St. Louis Cardinals. Yes, the Memphis Redbirds. He had just not been hitting well in AAA, a 553 OPS on the season. The Cardinals said, hey, we're done. He's 29 years old. Maybe he's got a little bit of something in the tank. The Rangers will go and see what he's got in AAA Round Rock. So far, I don't think he will be playing all that much center field because the Rangers have Alejandro Ozuna trying to get a bunch of reps down there in AAA Round Rock. I think that is definitely wise. We'll see if we end up getting any bit of Michael Helman at the big league level this year. I would lean towards doubting, but I mean, who knows? But I'm hoping that Jonathan Ornellis can make it through waivers and then come back to Texas and then figure some things out and end up being a good big league bench bat for years to come. I really do think that he's got that potential. He hits the ball hard. He works his walks. It's just if he can figure out how to hit the ball in the air, that is going to be a very, very good big league regular because that glove is absolutely incredible. But speaking of big leaguers, no. There was a better transition there. I could not find it. But the Rangers, the big league team. We are talking about the Rangers big league team heading into the Bronx. They are going to face off against the Yankees. Actually, before we get back to the big leagues, there was one more minor league thing that was in the back of my mind that was trying to make a transition that I completely forgot about. But I want to give a big congratulations to Melik Ortiz, the Frisco Rough Riders first baseman / outfielder. He was selected as the Texas League Player of the Week for May 12th through May 18th. He had a phenomenal week. He played in 5 games this week. He hit .450 with 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 11 RBIs, including the first ever walk-off grand slam in Frisco Rough Riders history. He had 6 RBIs in the Frisco Rough Riders 12-9 win over the Corpus Christi Hooks on Wednesday. And since the calendar has turned to May for him, he has been hitting incredibly. In 21 games in April, he had only a 658 OPS. I saw one of his 2 home runs. It was an absolute moonshot when I was there a few weeks ago at a day game for Frisco. And in 13 games in May, he's hitting .353. He's got 8 walks to 13 strikeouts, a .441 on base percentage, a .667 slugging percentage, and 1107 OPS. 4 dingers in 13 games and 4 doubles as well. 16 RBIs in 13 games. He has been a run driving in machine so far this season for the Frisco Rough Riders, and especially in the month of May. It's been very, very good to him. We'll see if he ends up getting promotion sometime soon to AAA Round Rock. I'm not sure exactly where he'd play. He might get some more reps in the outfield. The Rough Riders have Blaine Krim there playing some first base. They also have Justin Foscue getting some reps at first base. But I've seen Melik Ortiz in the outfield a couple of times, and it's not It's not great. He is a first baseman. He is a DH. He is a guy whose bat is going to carry him to the big leagues if he makes the big leagues at all. But I want to give a shout out to him for having an incredible week and earning those honors as the Texas League Player of the Week. But as for this series, a quick little preview. The Yankees, they're a good baseball team. Right now, the second best record in the American League. Yes, tied with the Seattle Mariners at 27-19 behind only the Tigers. The story this year for the Yankees, Aaron Judge is very good at baseball. I know you knew that, but he has been extra good. He is leading the American League with 15 home runs, leading all of baseball with a 401 batting average, leading all of baseball with a 490 on base percentage, and leading all of baseball with a 751 slugging percentage, a 249 OPS plus. He has been better than he has ever been, and he has already been the best hitter in baseball for the last half decade. So you're going to want to look out for that. Trent Grisham is having the best year of his freaking life at age 28. He is finally putting it all together. 12 home runs for him, a 959 OPS. The guy who is very much a glove first center fielder. He has been crushing it this year. Ben Rice has been another breakout player for the Yankees. He has got an 876 OPS on the season. Cody Bellinger is regaining form and hitting well in a very left-handed hitter-friendly park, a 790 OPS for him. He's got 7 home runs. Jazz Chisholm Jr. has got 7 home runs and a 102 OPS plus. Basically, every regular in this lineup for the Yankees has an OPS plus north of 110 outside of Austin Wells, who's their catcher, who's been about league average. Paul Goldschmidt has found a complete career resurgence at an 878 OPS on the season. He's been very, very good. DJ LeMahieu has just recently come back from the IL. He has been hitting incredibly well in his first 4 games. And the starting pitching has been, Max Fried's been incredible. Probably the best pitcher in baseball right now. Carlos Rodon has been very good. The Rangers will see him in the finale of this series. The rest of the starters, the bullpen, Luke Weaver's been good. Don't look at Devin Williams if you want to see some pretty baseball. Luke Weaver, a .44 ERA. Max Fried leading baseball with a 1.29 ERA. The Rangers will not see him this series. Thank the Lord, because this offense needs every bit of help they can get. It is going to be probably a very difficult series for the Rangers, but hey, this Ranger pitching staff has slowed down a lot of great offenses this season. This might be the best offense in baseball, going to give the Rangers starters some challenges for sure, but should be a fun series with the Brett Boone Bowl this week. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank y'all so much for listening and subscribing, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.